from WRAL and Panthers Playbook co-host with Dennis Cox. It's Chris Lea in the house. And
Chris Lea, huh?
Chris
What's
Lea.
happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Before we get into some Panthers talk, we got to do a little business with FanDuel. And I figure instead of picking an NFL game this week, usually this is the time of the show where we have to go in and we'll find some kind of bet or some kind of game that we're interested in. I figure, why not this really weird ACC championship game on Saturday at 8 o'clock at Bank of America Stadium? 18th ranked Virginia taking on a 7-5 Duke team, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know you're the sportscaster here in terms of being on TV and doing the broadcasting? Why is Duke in this game? I'm trying to figure out how they made it to this game because there's other teams that were 6-2, right? But
yeah,
tiebreakers or something.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different tiebreakers. Essentially, there's a whole big mess of things that's there. But their 6-2 record, based off of the teams that they beat, who had a higher winning percentage, so that ends up getting a tiebreaker to where Duke is there. And so it's a big mess. One of the things that Manny Diaz has been saying, he's like, these bloated conferences, he's like, it's happening to the ACC because things are more even right now. But as things become more even with other conferences, we're going to see this mess even more and more with bloated conferences. And so it's one of those things that it's like, this is the unintended consequences when you try to have these super conferences, kind of come out, because this isn't the first time or the last time it's going to happen for this. So yeah.
If Duke wins, there's potential the ACC will be shut out of the ACC playoff, right?
Done.
It's the highest
possible.
It
is. ACC ain't no team going in the. If Duke wins, ACC will have no representatives
out of 12 spots. Out of 12 spots. We were just talking a couple weeks ago about them getting 2 or 3 in. And I said a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how the ACC could get 2 teams in when Miami was still doing their thing. And now it's, man. All right, let me get back to the good vibes. The good vibes for the Panthers. And as we sit above 500 in December for the first time in Dave Canales' coaching career, I'm pretty sure the first time in Bryce Young's career as well. Yeah, we're gonna get to around the league in just a bit. But I was telling Stu, I think out of all of the Panther content creators that are out there, I think me and you have been the hardest on Bryce Young. And it's not out of like a place of like we hate Bryce Young or anything like that. We've just been critical of what he is in terms of where he was drafted and what our expectations have been. Do you extend Bryce Young? This is the question I want to lead off with you. Do you extend this man? Because they got a decision coming up here, and I'm not quite sure what are we looking for to decide if we need to extend him, because he's an enigma, Chris. I don't know what to do with him right now.
I think people that don't understand nuance think that we have been like mean to him or whatever, but simply like, I think the only thing that I've been saying is consistency, right? And the last 7 weeks kind of, prove that whole thing, right? Like you can go have a great game 1 week and the next week you don't look so good. Then you have a great game the next week and you have the next game you don't look so good. And so this is kind of the way I put it out there. Before we get to talking about an extension, we have to talk about the 5th-year option. And at this point, I want to say, because he's going to be eligible for that at the end of the season, I think at this point, that 5th-year option is going to be worth about $39.5 million for him. Are you comfortable in a world with Bryce Young making 40 plus, maybe even $50 million a year for the Carolina Panthers? And that's just for you to decide, right? To put it out there, because that 5th-year option, he's going to be at close to 39. And when you're making those decisions, you're saying, okay, at 39, if he's making 39, if he's going to end up making 45 or whatever it is with the extension after that, that's going to be a decision as to whether or not to have Rico Dowdle come back. That's going to be a decision or whether or not to have to sign somebody else to an extension, maybe a backup, defensive tackle to help, spare, Derek Brown or something like that. Like those are some of the decisions that you're going to have to make, and that makes the draft even more so important for the Carolina Panthers. So I don't even know if that question can even be answered right now. That's kind of because like you have to.
That's what I was gonna land right there. Look, it's too early. And we don't even need to talk about it. Let these boys focus on one thing and one thing only.
So we won't worry about that.
That's
okay. So let's not worry about the contract then. And I'll open this up to both of you guys. Your thoughts on Bryce Young's play this season? We just asked Jim Zoki to grade him, and he gave him, what did he give him, like a B-? No, he gave him like a C.
C+.
Yeah, C+, based on the up and down of what he is. And I said in the previous segment, he's starting to remind me of LeBron James a little bit, where you have to almost back him into a corner from the play well. Like he has to.
LeBron James?
Yeah, not like in terms of like
we said the same thing.
Let me explain. Not in terms of like talent level.
I mean, if you just say some bad stuff about LeBron, I mean, he'll just end up being second best player ever.
No, no, I mean in terms of like LeBron's mentality. Like, I mean in terms of his mentality. Like I've always had this thing where I've called it is LeBron and angry LeBron. Like angry LeBron is different than regular LeBron. Regular LeBron is like posing in the layup line and joking and doing the powder and all that stuff and shooting weird threes and stuff like that. Angry LeBron is when his team is in elimination mode and he's not playing around. He's in the layup line. He's got that look on his face. He gets the ball. He starts backing people into the post and doing stuff he don't normally do and starts playing bully ball. And it's a different level. And Bryce, it seems like when he has a bad game, that's him getting backed into a corner. And he turns it around the next week, almost like clockwork, and plays. He'll throw for 400 yards. He'll win a game-winning drive. He'll do all these things that we drafted him for. The thing is, to your point, Chris, he doesn't do it every single week. And I don't know if it's something where he needs to be pushed to do that or something he can learn to do.
You know what I compared him to? I wrote a column for WRALSportsFan.com yesterday, and I compared him to 13-year-old Chris, right? I think me and Jonathan are about the same age. So at 13, I've got my Walkman with my CDs, listening to some Cash Money, you know what I'm saying? Okay, trying to look hard, you know what I'm saying? I got maybe some Dada on, all that type of stuff. I got some Dada and then and maybe some Jabos, but also I got a yo-yo. I got an X brain. I'm trying to do the yo-yo tricks. Like I'm trying to look hard and look older, but then I've got something that holds me back from that because I'm still got something pulling me back, still being a kid. At 13, you don't quite know who you are. And it just feels like right now, I'm not sure if Bryce understands all the way who he is as an NFL player. I know he knows who he is as a man. He knows who he is as a person outside of football. So I'm not trying to diss him at all, not whatsoever. But it feels like in some games he can make the throw, in other games he's too afraid and he holds it. Yeah. So when is he going to trust himself? When is he going to trust the scheme? When is he going to trust the process fully Bleav in everything? And so I think that's where it's at. I would agree with Jim, maybe a C+. And it's not because I don't think he's capable of getting an A. He's very much so capable of being an A. We saw the Atlanta game. We saw this past game versus the Rams. He's very much so capable of that. It's just that we don't want to see last time they beat a big time team in the NFC that we didn't expect them to beat. They came back and lost to the Saints. They have
we about to win. We winning this. No, we winning this week.
To think about it, and then they have the Saints again.
We winning this week is bye week, so we stacking.
Yeah, we winning this week. No matter what, we winning. We winning this week.
But I'll say this because that's a good article. I hope everybody goes and reads that because what you said was so important. Because I think we look at Bryce. He's been successful all his year, all of his career, leading up to his professional career. He came into a professional situation that wasn't professional by any means, right? You look at the roster, you look at we talk about it all the time, me and Desmond. We talk about the ingredients, right? When you get to the kitchen, give me something to work with. I need more than just salt and pepper. I need some Lowry's. I need some paprika. I need some Louisiana Creole. I need something, right? So that way I can spice it up. And we didn't necessarily have that for him. And especially a kid that hasn't been able to go through certain types of adversities along his football career. This was his first moment on national spotlight as a first round draft pick, the Carolina Panthers, that had to go through adversity in front of everybody for the first time. And so to that point, and how you explained it was so perfect. It was so eloquent. He is a kid and having to figure out what it feels like to go through hard things. And I feel like, there is a element of trust that I think people have to earn with him, to be honest, because if I was in that situation, I don't know if I trust you. I don't know if I trust you, but I got a smile on your face. I got a smile on your face. And I got to figure out how to hold it all together and be the leader of this organization and make plays every week, but also understanding this game plan and trusting the game plan. And I feel like when Dave Canellas and him are on the same page, I feel like we get a great product. And I think that is something that comes with time and experience.
Jonathan, do you mind if I ask you a question really quick? Because this is something I've brought up before. When you're somebody who, like, you're always surrounded by winning, you go to Mater Dei, you go to Alabama, and then all of a sudden you have to go to with the Carolina Panthers. And listen, I've been a Carolina Panthers fan since '95, right? But also, like, you know, there are always kind of ups and downs with the Panther seasons, right? Like, there'll be a winning season one year, next year it'll be a losing season. And so coming into a situation where there have been some losing after the sale and all that good stuff, and we're leaning on you to be the guy to bring us up. It's got to be a lot of pressure for somebody who's always been in a winning situation where they never had to elevate that. They kind of came in the situation where everything was already. I don't know if your high school was like that, but Oregon, you know what I'm saying, you know, winning programs. How tough is that going to be for somebody coming into the NFL when you're used to just being at winning programs who were winning before you got there?
It's real tough, especially when you have so much turnover, right? It's better if you have a consistency within the house, right? You know, if you are a person that is, like, for instance, we moved a lot when I was younger. My dad was in the Army, right? And so we became a family that learned how to adapt. It doesn't mean that it's not stressful. You still have the elements of not having a settled place to live, and settled friendships, and you know, the convenience store and the grocery store that you can be used to and whatnot. And so those types of things shape you and has you ready for, you know, landing on your feet when bad things happen. You know, for Bryce, not saying that he was sheltered or anything like that, and that he hasn't gone through anything bad in his life, but football wise, it's been nice. He's had Nick Saban. Hey, ain't nothing wrong here. y'all better check under the hood. I'm that man, right? And then you look at his high school; it's been that way for years of success with that program. So many guys coming out of school, so you just kind of go into certain things as that guy, being surrounded by the philosophy and the you know, the culture and the environment that is winning, even if there is elements of, you know, toxicity, it gets removed from the program, right? So you don't have to deal with those types of things. You know, Carolina Panthers, and we talk about Carolina, and everyone has something bad to say about the transition of ownership. When you transition from anything, right? When you transition from one home to another home, one owner to another owner, there's a lot of things that have to go right. You have to get the plumbing, you have to make sure the water, the electric, all those types of things are up to speed, the roof, you have to make sure you check the foundation, make sure that that's all intact. And there's a lot of things that have to be fixed and removed. That takes time. And when you have leadership being part of that movement every 2 years, it seemed like at the point, it's hard for a quarterback to come into a system that's already settled. And so that's what he was up against. And that's part of the story of the Carolina Panthers, whether you like it or not, because that's part of transition. That's part of ownership. That's part of building. That's part of growing. And if you are not willing to watch that process grow, you don't necessarily understand the meaning behind something that is so special. It's only special when you get to ride in from the front seat and see how this thing takes form. Because you look at all these other teams, you look at Green Bay, you look at Buffalo, you look at Dallas, you look at the New York teams, you look at the Patriots. I mean, look at the Patriots. You talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time. He went on a playoff drought. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is not like up for a discussion of whether Bryce is not capable or not. This is up for discussion of how do we give the consistencies for all the players in that building so that way they can be successful. And Dan and Dave are bringing that. You look at the last 2 years. If you complaining about the last 2 years, you need to go to another organization because Carolina Panthers is out here. They're turning it around. They're turning around the boat. And we always talk about it, Desmond. If you ain't got a ticket, you're gonna get left behind.
Yep, we ain't got time.
And I got a couple more tickets for you to get on the boat. But
I'm glad you went through that because people kind of forget too. It's easy to be like he was the quarterback at Mater Dei and quarterback at Alabama as if he was handed these things. He still had to prove he could be the quarterback at Mater Dei and at Alabama. You know what I mean? Like he had to. If he wasn't gonna be the quarterback at Mater Dei, there was 3 other dudes right behind him that could be the starter at Mater Dei. At Alabama, same thing. Was he in that room where it was like Mac Jones, Tua?
Look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a perfect example of situations. Okay. Yeah. Mac Jones in that Niner uniform looked like Alabama Mac Jones.
Because he had a Shanahan kind of helping him figure out where to swing that rock.
Hey, man, look, this is the play. This is how we're going to go through it. This is the progressions. You know your progressions. This is how we do things here in San Francisco. We have Christian McCaffrey.
That helps out let Christian him McCaffrey behind you.
Right? But when he was with the Patriots, a lot of toxicity. Okay. Not a lot of things going well over there.
That snowballs. And that was the thing that going back to the original thing about Bryce, I feel like Panthers Twitter, bless it, I love all of y'all. We are the most emotional fan base there is in the NFL online. I think we
fan base.
We ebb and flow.
Just a fan base.
It's just a fan base. But we ebb and flow based off the team. Like we emotionally live with this team. And I see people from the outside like, why are you so attached to this team? Y'all ain't never won nothing. Y'all ain't never did nothing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, if you bleed for your home team every Sunday and you get to a point where like you'd rather go mow the yard or something besides, it's like you're losing a friend. You know what I mean? Like, so like you want them to get better. You want them to figure out
this lawn. Let me go take this trash out.
So many people like, I'm just going to go do something else today. Like the past couple of years, this is the first time and probably since 2017 where we're all in December and we're all in this like figuring out what's going to happen. So
I got a question for you, Chris. I got a question. Do you think fans owe David Tepper an apology?
That was where I was going because we were also hard on David Tepper too, and he did what he said he was going to do. He got out the way. He literally just. Well, how many times have you seen David Tepper this year?
Let's see. I didn't go to the Rams game because I wasn't feeling well, but I don't know. I don't think I've seen him.
I've only seen him at a practice once, and that was like way back in the preseason.
I guess my question to answer the question is an apology for what? Like, you know, because like I think the things that
for not believing that he could be a competent NFL owner. Because we were at a point where we were wanting him to sell the team, like some of it, not me. I was like, that's not how this works. Like he's double the value. So he's not going to sell the team. So that's not going to happen.
We Bleav over here.
I guess we're asking did you believe that David Tepper could become a competent NFL owner and get out of the way? Because it felt like he was in the way more times than not in the first part of his ownership here.
I think once he got out the way, I liked the chances a lot better, right? I did think that there were, you know, missteps at the beginning. Like, let's not act like, you know, he didn't pull the trigger too hard or too fast, on Teddy Bridgewater, which happened to, you know, make a snowball effect of different things happen at the quarterback position, which ended up making us lose a lot of draft capital and possibly some other good players along the way to try to get to the quarterback, right? Like there's like a snowball effect of a lot of different moves that happen. Like if you just kind of stay patient 1 year, you know, maybe some other things, you know, can kind of go your way. I don't necessarily think he's necessarily owed an apology from me. I don't know about others. Like I don't, you know, I try not to look too deep into what a lot of folks are saying outside of folks like you and Jay Stu and you know some other players that I follow and everything like that. Whenever I get back on Twitter, because I'm still hacked right now. But
you and Desmond got hacked.
I'm still hacked.
How that happened, man? Y'all be clicking on stuff.
Dude, I had like a Bitcoin bot or something take over mine. I don't even know what happened.
That's mine. That's mine.
Y'all clicked
and I had 2-factor authentication on mine. It was just more so like a friend of mine said, "Hey, vote for me for this podcast." And I have a lot of podcasting friends. And after that, it was taken.
You do it. I don't click it from you. I don't click stuff in text messages.
Yeah, mine.
I call people when they send me stuff, links. I'm like, hey man, you send me a link.
That's the way to do it, though. That's the way to do it. I mean, yeah, I do feel like he did take his own advice and get out the way, and he hired the right people. Like he finally got that right.
It's easier. This is how I see it. If you are a human being, right? You ain't just gonna hand the keys to your car to someone that you don't trust to drive. Okay, you're gonna be right there in that passenger seat. Okay, I'm like, hey, look, I'm just making sure you know how to drive, fool. Because from my experience, I have trust issues. Okay, so like I got to make sure you can drive this car. And so I look at Dave and Dan as guys that he was able to actually have time to evaluate and say, I trust these guys. Right.
You know,
so
both
that to me is a human concept that I think people miss all the time. You know, they look at people with money, they look at people in certain positions and say, oh, that's easy. Just pay someone to do it. No, you have to feel good about it, because otherwise your brain, your emotions, how your personality is going to have to interact with the actual experience.
Yeah. I think I do, like, for me personally, I think I understand that concept. I think it was just certain things along the way, like, you know, the throwing of the ice, or, you know, the Dilworths, you know, type of thing, or, you know, it's just like certain steps along the way where it's like Dave, like, come on, bro, like just chill out a little bit. Like, we're not supposed to be talking about you as much.
In 2010, y'all wouldn't have known me, boy. I was throwing stuff at people. What you say?
when that happens, Stu, what did I say on this show? I mean, both of y'all are wrestling fans too. I was like, be the heel. Lean into it. If you're gonna be that guy that throws ice on a fan or whatever, and cuss at him, throw up middle fingers, be that guy. 100%
you can do it when you're winning, though. You can do it when you're winning. That wasn't the time.
Hulk Hogan
you ain't supposed to do it. No, we ain't supposed to do it. But what we saying is, when it happens, don't act like you ain't been there before. Yeah, we all been there before. That's my thing, right?
It's okay.
And it's like, yes, he paid the fine. He took his L. But at the end of the day, let's not paint the picture like he just some guy that just don't know how to, this man, in my mind, it's all about ownership, is all about progress, right? It's all about progress. It's all about how are we doing here? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? And for a long time, it's been very this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we get to watch it live.
And I'm okay with, and hindsight, if you've been riding with the Panthers when we've been doing this, you are now enjoying the fruits of that labor, right? And so that, to me, is what fanship is all about. It's about riding the wave. It's about going through the aches and pains, so that way you appreciate these wins. So that way you appreciate when the kicker makes a field goal. So that way you appreciate a Rico Dowdle and a Chuba Hubbard. So that way you appreciate Taylor Moton. So that way you appreciate Merrick, who's the guy that ransomed. You appreciate the guys that are starting to, identify with what it looks like to have a winning culture, right? So
we didn't have it before. Yeah, now
we ain't had it for a while.
You have. Yeah. I want to
so now you should appreciate an owner that has a good football team. That's what I'm saying.
And we got a month to kind of figure out if we are in fact a good football team. Even if the season ends with them on a skid or something, they've shown progress, like you said, throughout the season to build on for next year. I don't think anybody truly expected them to be in the hunt for the playoffs this year, but to have the potential to win a division championship in Canal's second year, like that's good stuff. So I mean, let's just ride and see what happens. I want to go to Around the League real quick before we get out of here. We do a thing with Stu, Around the League, true or false. Today will be Around the League, true or false, Jay, Stu, and Chris Lea edition, as I will ask you guys a couple of questions from Around the League since we are not playing this week. The Denver Broncos are the 1 seed right now in the AFC. The Denver Broncos will make the AFC Championship. True or false?
False.
Okay. Any particular thing that y'all don't? There's something about Denver that y'all don't like, or
I think their defense. I think their defense is solid. I just think their offense is spotty. I look at the Patriots and how they play and their leadership. I just feel like that locker room has got to be flying. Like they're flying on all cylinders right now. Special teams unit is dominating right now in the return game. Defense is solid, and then Drake May is being Drake May, who people thought he was going to be, and then some. And so I think Vrabel has that group playing with a different type of intensity. You know, you talk about a coach that gets to be the head coach of a team that he once played for. I mean, there's a different sense of pride that we're watching compared to how he was in Tennessee. So I just think that the Patriots, you know,
I take that back.
They're going to give them more.
After I forgot the Patriots and Giants played last night. The Patriots actually are the 1 seed now. They're a half a game ahead of Denver at 11-2. Denver's at 10-2. Both teams, Denver's won 9 straight. New England's won 10 straight. And their game, well, actually they're 2 games ahead of the Bills right now in the East with 4 to play. So the Patriots.
I was just gonna add to what Jonathan was saying here, along with the Patriots. Like to get to the AFC Championship game, you need 2 teams. So like, you know, I think you still got the Bills out there, and at some point, Josh Allen's going to turn it on. He's going to become playoff Josh Allen, and it doesn't look like Mahomes is going to be on his way this year. So
that was actually one of my questions down here. Both the Chiefs, both the Chiefs and the Ravens will miss the playoffs. True or false? Both.
I think the Chiefs will. I think Baltimore might be able to will themselves back in that. They play the Bengals this week.
That division's up for play.
Joe Burrow could be out here trying to mess up people's dreams, though. So
I heard that yesterday, and I was like, "How is that possible?" And I went to go look at it. And I was like, "Well, they're 4-8, but they're only 2 games out of first in the AFC North with 4 to play, huh?" And everybody lost in that division last week except for Cincinnati. So Baltimore and Pittsburgh at 6-6. Neither team really scares anybody. The Ravens have a horrible defense, and it's really just Lamar Jackson. The Steelers have a weird situation at quarterback. Like I feel, and actually that was going to be
Aaron. Listen, Aaron, got to get up out of there, man,
bro. You know what?
He's stuck. They only have 43 plays this past game. They averaged 55 plays a game.
Aaron Rodgers was old. I'm sorry.
League on offense. Last year they averaged like 63 plays a game.
And that was Mason Rudolph at quarterback, or no, it was Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
They got rid of Russ.
Man, remember when we were raving about how they had both those quarterbacks in there for like $1 million or something last year, and now neither one of them are there, and they went for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hasn't good in 5 years. If you really
I think teams like that, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not Aaron, it's the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, I think, hides behind performances of players that are not in position to excel, period.
But that's actually a good segue into my next question. This is Mike Tomlin's last year in Pittsburgh. True or false?
Probably true.
No, I don't think they'll fire him, but I can see a mutual parting of the ways at this point. Like I'm sick of you and you sick of me, like that kind of thing. Like they've only had 3 head coaches since 1960.
Yeah, it's tough to like. I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's a great coach, but I think there does come to a point where like you just need a new voice, and it's not necessarily like, hey, it's not that we dislike you. We love you. We had great times with you. We got a Super Bowl with you. It's been a lot of great times, but at this point, there probably needs to be a new voice, and he probably needs a new change of scenery. Like I imagine if he takes a year off or just goes straight back into it next year with another team, he's going to have wherever winning.
I
he's
know
still a great coach. It's not a disbelief in him at all.
I already know where
might be like it might the time.
Where he going?
I already know where he's going. It sets up perfect for him. He's going to the New York Football Giants. They got probably the best defensive line in the league. I thought you were going to
say Falcons.
I was going to say the Falcons, but I'd rather him go up there to go up north. Hey, Mike Tomlin.
Think about what they have.
If you see this somehow, do not bring yourself to the South.
We don't need you in NFC South. NFC South is closed.
Stay out of here.
It's
closed for the winter. But no, think about
Atlanta.
The New York Football Giants
sewerage and all that down there.
The Giants have everything you would need to step in right now. They got a quarterback on a rookie deal in Jackson Dart. Scatterbo will be back. Running back, so they can play smash mouth. They put some money in the offensive line. The defensive line, you got 4 studs on your defensive line. He can build with the defense right now. You got an elite wide receiver in Malik Neighbors. Like, he's got everything right there. They just need a new voice. And they need somebody to really, I think, be defensive minded to come in there and just hit it and run. It's Mike Tomlin. Like, Mike Tomlin won't be unemployed but for like an hour if they let him go. Like, someone's going to grab him in the parking lot. Like, hey, I got a football team. You want to coach my team?
Before he gets unemployed, he's gonna have an email contract.
So we heard that you were available. Why don't you come down here and coach in Dallas or wherever it's going to be? So that might be interesting to see. Mike Tomlin's yet to have a losing season as coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's coached for what, 20 years? How long has he been in Pittsburgh? It
was like 15 or something like that.
When did he become Pittsburgh? He became the Pittsburgh head coach because Cowher was before him. Cowher got through the 90s until like early 2000s.
You know what? This is my take on Tomlin. I think Tomlin should stay
in Pittsburgh,
and I think he should fire all the other coordinators. That's around.
Didn't he just do that though?
Do it again.
2007, Mike Tomlin, year before Jay Stu got in the league.
Oh wow. Okay, so yes, it's been about 15 plus years. He's the most tenured coach, I believe.
About 18.
John Harbaugh. Him and John Harbaugh.
Dennis Dixon went to that team and he won a Super Bowl.
Oh, your former teammate?
Yeah, former teammate.
Yeah, that was year 2. I think year 2 of Tomlin when they won that Super Bowl.
I was in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So here's an interesting one. Dallas will win the NFC East. True or false?
Man, 2 weeks ago, I would have said false for sure. But right now,
they're rolling right now.
Bro, they're game out.
It's also the fact that the Eagles are sputtering too.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't understand what Philly's deal is.
I don't know. I'm in the middle. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Philly's 8-4. Dallas is 6-5-1. Dallas has won 3 straight. Philly's lost 2 straight.
It's winter time, and Philly does one thing: they run the ball, even if they can't. Sometimes they choose to run it, and I feel like if they get back to that and stop messing with AJ Brown and his emotions, you win football games. Period.
Their offense is like
it's because of AJ Brown, bro.
You think they're forcing it to him? Like just trying
when he has all the catches in the world that he wants, they're like 2-2 or something like that.
See, I don't understand that mentality. Wouldn't you rather caught 4 balls and won the game, win a ring, as opposed to getting 10 catches and having your name talked about being on a bad team?
He did say himself after he won the Super Bowl, he felt empty afterwards, and he realized that he loved dominating on the field in the chase. Like after the Super Bowl, he was not happy.
That doesn't make any sense.
He'd rather, yeah. So listen, I don't know. Jay Stu might be onto something.
Trade him.
He might be onto something.
Now. The decision to keep him at the trade deadline was pretty interesting because I'm like, Philly could actually get like a first.
I think he's a great talent, and I think he's a good human. I just think for him to be on that type of team where it seems like there's a lot of selfless individuals, it just don't fit the profile. It don't fit the scheme. It don't fit what they're trying to achieve. And so maybe there's another place out there for him. Maybe we'll find out this offseason. But
it's always the wide receiver.
But I'm right there with, I think Philly has the better squad.
But they had the better squad. What was it, 2 years ago when they started off like 10-1 and then they like lost out? And everyone was like, "What happened to the Eagles?" Like they still got.
You ain't gonna just disrespect the Super Bowl team like that. We can't.
They're disrespecting
override the fact that they didn't win the Super Bowl last year.
The way they're playing, they're disrespecting them. It's like they forgot they were Super Bowl champions. Like I don't And then Dallas is like figuring stuff out. That Quinnen Williams trade, it actually worked. Like maybe we owe Jerry Jones an apology because we were talking about him.
Man, no, we don't owe Cowboys nothing.
They got a top 5 defense since the trade deadline.
We owe them. They actually owe us.
He don't like the Cowboys. That's what it is. He's never.
We let them in. We let them in the Bank of America Stadium, and they ain't even pay rent.
They understood. They understood this time when they came, and then finally, maybe they don't want to answer this yet, but the Panthers will win the NFC South. True or false?
Yes. You doggone Skippy.
Listen.
Say something. Let me hear you.
If I'm walking in the bar with Jay Stu and he just says yes, look, yes.
Everybody, listen. All right, what do you say? Yes.
If I'm walking into a bar with Jay Stu and he says it's yes, it's yes.
Oh, I'm going into the bar. I'm on virtual. I'm on the whole world. Everybody, the world, listen to me.
Oh, Chris,
the Carolina Panthers are going to win the NFC South.
I've been on this road with you before.
We're going to have a home field playoff game. Make sure you show up.
A home playoff game this year?
And if you don't got your tickets, I got a couple left, okay?
If we have a home playoff game this year, I got to come down to Charlotte. I'm coming to Charlotte for that. If we manage to get a home playoff game when we haven't had a playoff game in 8 years.
2017.
Man, you already know what the formula is already in the mix, man. Jaguars in the beginning of the year, J-Lo,
J-Lo divorcing and Ohio State
beating.
It's all part of the
Michigan.
pudding, baby. It's all part of the pudding. So yes, we win the NFC South, and we getting into. We gonna be right there in playoffs, man.
I'll leave us with this. The 2 times the Panthers have made the Super Bowl, no one predicted the Panthers were going to make the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. Like nobody, especially 03. Like that.
You want me to make a prediction? I ain't gonna make a prediction if that's the case.
Don't say that.
I do not want you to do that.
Too early going to the playoffs. NFC South champs. Tell me what, we got 4 games left.
Yeah.
If we win 3 of those, we can win 3.
I was going to say they have to go 3-1, and the way that this team is set up, the 3-1 is probably going to be the last 3 games of the year, the ones they're going to win.
We do get Seattle at home, which I'm like, yo, that's actually, you got to make Seattle come across, play. I think it's a 1:00 game, so it's really like 10 o'clock to them. It's kind of the same situation.
Shock the world with that one.
And then you got two against Tampa, who don't really scare me. And
look, the Bucks. Everybody forget these other teams. They got to play games too. I don't believe.
Believe?
I don't believe in the Bucks, but I believe in these Panthers. The Bucks right now, they're hanging on to a thread, dog.
Yeah, it feels like they're sputtering, and we're kind of going the other way.
They're trying to hold on. They're trying to get guys back, but they peaked too early. Period. You know, and when you peak as a team mid-season, you know that's not good. You end up being like the Falcons.
I'd rather peak like we're doing, like Riverboat Run style, like we said, peak in December.
December, where we get the look. You talk about them running backs. Look, I got a prediction for you. Rico he gonna finish the season over 1,200 yards. Chuba gonna have he's at 400 right now. He'll finish the season around 650, 700. We gonna run this rock. Please believe that. Because if we learn one thing about the Carolina Panthers this year, when we choose to dial it up, we win games. And it's not necessarily dialing it up and having this crazy success. This is keeping defenses honest, right? Yeah. Keeping defenses honest, giving Bryce Young more lanes to throw and build his confidence. Because when he gets more confident, then it's really going to be a problem.
Desmond, I don't want to extend this too much because I know it's you guys' show, but because I don't get this chance often, I've been saying for a long time that Canales needs to use some 2-back sets. And because I remember back in the day, we would see Jay Stu, we'd see D'Angelo Williams, and it worked. It like people, and they were able to use both of those guys in harmony. So how can Chuba and Rico be used a little bit more in harmony in these last 4 games?
He started doing it last week.
I think last week was pretty good, man. Like,
but you know what? I have a theory about that. It felt like the only reason why he did it is because after that first play, Rico was holding his left shoulder.
He got a little banged up and whatnot on that first play on the toss, right?
Yeah.
And Chuba came in, spelled him, and he converted. He got hot. That's how it should go. That's the flow of the game. When D'Angelo was our starter, he would go in. If it wasn't feeling it, I would go in. If I was feeling it, I had a hot hand, and I would keep running. They would keep running me until the hot hand kind of spelled out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically how you find success as a running game with this team is by not feeling like you have to feed ego. There's no ego to feed besides the ego of the Carolina Panthers. Like, who do we want to be here? We want to be a winning organization. You got two dogs, feed them both, and you can do it just like you did this past week. I loved, when Rico started off, one first down, second down. All right, third down, Chuba comes in. Boom. Chuba comes in. He doesn't come out of the game if they convert. He stays in the game. Just stay in the game, run it out. And then if you get a long run and you get tired, come on out. That's kind of how that should go.
And it felt like they were trying to appease like one back or the other. Like they didn't want to make Chuba mad by giving Rico these carries or making him start.
Also, too, Chuba wasn't all the way healthy. We have to acknowledge that. When a guy goes out of a game earlier in the season and, that's how Rico got, his shot, you have to take in consideration, like, okay, how do we manage the guy that was our starter? How do we manage him back into this, right? And I think they played their cards right and they said all the right things in the media and all that, because I think when you see Chuba on this past weekend, that was a fresh Chuba. He was running explosive. He was fighting for those extra yards. But to the point of the two-back system, right? It's not so much about the two backs in the game. It's the 13 personnel. It's the 23 personnel, right? When it's 4th and 2 and we running 23 personnel and we got 2 running backs and we got 3 tight ends, that's what I love to That's what I love to see.
Put it in my bank.
This past weekend, when we had to get it, they line up in that little funny
the joint with the 3
two full back.
Yeah,
they had Rico in the backfield. They had Chuba on the left. They had, was it Mitch Evans or
I think it was Mitchell Evans? Yeah, and then they kind of all do like this and
big hog mogs up front. Hey, look, we are running for the first down. Stop it. Right? That's the mentality. That's the mindset. And so that's what I love more. I love that more than anything else they've been doing this year. Right? Because
I need Dave
tapping into that identity.
Yeah, I need Dave Canales to commit to that every week. And I think that trickles down to Bryce and everybody else. If Dave comes out with the mentality of running like he did this past week, and I said it was because it was raining. That's the main reason why he had to do this. But then Bryce started throwing it in the rain. So I think he got tricked by the 448 yards. You want to see if he can do it again. And that's kind of what happened in that Saints game or whatnot. But and we got to get out of here. But I think in the end, if Dave Canales truly commits to running the football early and often, it's beneficial to Bryce Young, the defense, everybody, time of possession, all that stuff. So just follow the same recipe. Like don't try to deviate from what got you the win against one of the best team in the league that we had all anointed a week before. Do it again. Football.
Did you guys see that picture of Bryce Young in Green Bay as they were walking from the locker room? And it was him and all the offensive linemen behind him in that little tunnel.
Yeah.
You seen that picture?
Yeah, I saw it. A little video.
Man,
they showed it.
Look, we're gonna send it to you. But that is the identity of this football team. When you walk into a situation, you walk out there on that field, you want to know that you got heavy artillery. You got all the weapons that you need. And yes, we will use all of them, right? That's the confidence that I'm talking about when you're going into play the LA Rams, the best team in the NFC. You're going in knowing that I got this guy behind me. I got this guy in here. We can run this personnel. We can run 11 personnel, 12. We have all the personnels, and we can run the same plays. Well, that's when you become dangerous.
Confidence is a sweet smelling cologne, and I'll leave it there because I feel like the Panthers are building some confidence, and now they can actually be like, hey, we've done it before. We beat Dallas. We beat the Rams. We beat Green Bay at Green Bay. Like, if we can beat those teams, we can beat anybody in the league. Like, especially the way the league is this year. Like, everybody's up and down. There is no dominant team. So
beat Atlanta twice.
Yeah, why not us? Why not us? Let us play the Patriots or the Bills, and we'll be good to go. I need to cut this. Shout out to Chris. Go find their stuff. I watch their stuff each week. Him and Dennis Cox do a fantastic job. It's Panthers Playbook. It's through the WRAL YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. You can catch them. 99.9
The Fan. YouTube out of Raleigh.
And they usually, Chris is usually on, Dennis is on my show a lot too. They're usually on with me on the Desmond Johnson show throughout the season. Shout out to Jim Zoki and the Panthers Radio Network, who came through in the first half of this episode to give us a Zoki report card. We will not be on Sunday because we don't have a game to do a post game after. So we will be off on Sunday.
Unless something spectacular happens,
unless something crazy happens. Like I don't know what that could be. Like if something wild happens, then we'll get on Sunday.
We ain't Saints fans, but we'll
give you a breakdown of Saints Falcons or whatever it's supposed to be on Sunday. But we'll be back midweek next week previewing Panthers versus Saints and get you guys ready to get rolling again. So we gave you a supersized edition today of Bleav in Panthers, and we will be back next week. So for Chris Lea, for Jonathan Stewart, for Jim Zoki, this is Desmond Johnson. You've been watching and listening to the Bleav in Panthers podcast here on Bleav Podcast Networks, brought to you by the fine folks over at FanDuel. Everybody keep pounding.